Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Stahley, and tonight's presentation is on the continuous process improvement utilizing the Plan, Do, Study, Act method of change management. Henry Ford says that quality means doing it right when no one is looking. And research states that manufacturing companies can increase profit by implementing the Plan, Do, Study, Act method of change management because the PDSA cycle provides a systematic approach to process improvement from the top down, and improved processes lead to a higher quality output. The Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle is credited to W. Edwards Deming, often called the father of quality improvement. As you can see on my visual aid, I have outlined in detail the steps and intentions of the Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDSA cycle. The steps of the cycle are as follows: plan, do, study, act. To go into more detail, the plan stage of the cycle is where changes that need to be made are identified, the proposal for the new way to do things is identified, and the metrics for defining the outcomes are defined. In the do stage, the new process plan is carried out, and the outcomes and observations are recorded. In the study stage, those outcomes are analyzed and compared to the predictions identified in the process plan stage, and you identify and summarize the lessons learned from the new process's plan. In the act stage, you take what you know from the study stage. You identify the changes that need to be made, and you immediately kick off the next cycle by rolling back into the plan stage. This way, it's a cyclic process. The PDSA cycle, when approached and implemented correctly, does offer a systematic approach to quality improvement within business. This visual aid was designed and referenced to the Plan, Do, Study, Act PDSA cycle from the Deming Institute. Lobo wrote an article, Quality is Everyone's Business, where he points out that PDSA is most effective when integrated in every aspect of a business, and he cites Deming's famous quote, quality is everyone's responsibility. Quality itself can be broken down into two parts: the core quality practices, which is what we normally think of, the quality controls in place for reduction in business processes, and the infrastructure practices, which is the organizational culture, the top-down commitment to quality. In John Hunter's blog post, Keys to the Effective Use of the PDSA Improvement Cycle, he stresses that the cyclic nature of PDSA is what leads to the continued process improvement, and that PDSA as a cycle invites businesses to continually rework product processes. Practice makes perfect. For example, if you're a brand new bowler, you won't know how to pick up the ball, take 4 or 5 steps through the lane, and deliver everything with timing. What you need to do is take the steps of the approach into their smaller parts and work on the mechanics of each part. In this way, you'll master a full approach and a holistic approach to bowling. It's better to flip the PDSA cycle multiple times with less data than prolonging the first cycle. Babies don't just watch someone crawl, wait till they're confident they can do it, and then succeed on the first try. No, they learn a little bit more every time. They start on their hands and knees, then they rock back and forth, then they go backwards, always failing in between, before they finally successfully crawl forward for the first time. So what's the point of continuous process improvement? Well, improved processes lead to a higher quality output. S. Bailey, in her article, Does Quality Really Matter Anymore?, states that true quality starts at the beginning of the product life cycle, and that to better control quality, manufacturers need to look closely at production processes on the front end to proactively identify risks and pitfalls in the entire production process. Would you bake a cake without a recipe? And what if you didn't read the recipe first, and it called for salt instead of sugar? How good would your cake be then? Lobo states that process improvement must be thought of as a whole system, not just in bits and pieces. So returning to our cake, if a baker only focused on getting the perfect texture of the cake and ignored improving the taste, how good would the end result be? But how do you know if you have improved? Kepler asks, why even bother auditing? Why not just let the system run? Without a way to check that the actual outcomes meet the desired outcomes, true process improvement can't be accomplished. If you don't check your work, how do you know it's right? This is true in anything. If you don't know what you want, you don't know what you got, and you don't know what you got is what you want, you have no idea how to improve, and that's why audits are so important. If you once again return to our cake, say it's decorated impeccably, but it tastes horrible. Would you worry about how to decorate it for the next term? No, you'd want to focus on the process of baking the cake. and focus your internal audits on the baking process and how those parts could be improved. In conclusion, PDSA is most effective at improving quality when a culture of continuous improvement is embedded in the company from top down. 2, when quality improvement is approached with a continuous cycle of PDSA, quality of output improves. 3, improved processes lead to that higher quality output. And 4, higher quality output leads to increased profitability. Are there any questions from the audience? Yes.
I've heard of the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. How does that differ from the Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle?
Well, there's 2 ways to look at this. First, it's the difference between the meaning of check and study. Check implies that you merely check to see what happened in the due phase, where study implies that you're really going to analyze those results and apply them to future improvements. The other thing is that historically, Deming did the Plan, Do, Check cycle based off of Stewart's article on continuous process improvement from the 60s. But in 1986, he really wanted to stress the meaning of study as a way to improve upon that process. Any other questions? Yes?
What does management need to know prior to implementing PDSA?
What management needs to know prior to implementing PDSA is that everything takes practice. And in order for a new process to be mastered, you're going to have to focus on the proficiency. Toyota uses a proficiency method called KATA, which is a series of small exercises designed to improve the technical proficiency and the coaching proficiency of the managers from the top down. In this way, the commitment to quality goes through the entire organization. That's all the time we have today. I thank you very much for listening to this presentation, and we hope you all have a good night.